We are looking at the free response question from our last assessment, and the one we're going to begin our discussion about is one where you're given two rates of change. We are told, first of all, the rate in tons per hour. That's very important to get those units straight. So a lot of times I'll just write it on the side. It's tons per hour. And this is the rate at which the gravel arrives. Okay, so it's coming into the plant. And then we're also given a second rate. Now it's kind of hidden a little bit because it's not necessarily a function, it's a constant. It's 100 tons per hour. And what's going on here? This is the rate at which the gravel is being processed. So you're done with the gravel. So now you're going to actually ship the gravel out to the companies that are purchasing it. Now the first question, find G prime of 5. Well, first of all, what is the G function? So it's G of t, right? Now this function is a rate of change, okay? That's what you really need to understand is what is the function given to us. And this is the rate that the unprocessed gravel is arriving at my plant, the tons of hour arriving. So then if we look at the derivative of this, we are actually looking at the change in the rate of change, okay? Interesting, huh? Now we know that when you take a derivative of a function, and if that derivative is greater than 0, we know then that the original function is increasing. Okay, so whatever time we substitute into this function, the derivative of g, if it's greater than 0, that means that g of t is increasing. Now if the derivative of that original function is less than 0, then we can say that that original function, g of t, is decreasing. And that's why you need to understand what is the function given to you. So you guys did great on the mathematics here when you plugged in 5 into the function. Now I hope that you didn't do this by hand, right? Because you're going to use your calculator and you're going to go the derivative in respect to x of this function. You know, you'll type that in, 90 plus 45 cosine, right, of t squared over 10. I'm trying to read over my writing. I hope I copied that down, right? Now, you'll have to tell your calculator in respect to 5. If you don't know how to do that on your calculator, you need to come in and learn. That's one of the 4 things you have to be able to do on your calculator is find the derivative of a function at a certain point. Now, when you did that, then you got the answer was negative 24.588. Always go to 3 decimal places when using your calculator. So since this number is negative, then we can say that my original function is decreasing. Now, what was the original function as far as context of the problem? That was my rate of change. So therefore, the rate of change is decreasing. Now, what would be the units? Since g of t is tons per hour, we're actually finding the derivative of that. Okay, so we're actually going tons per hour, right, over hour, because you're finding the slope. So that equals tons per hour squared. So my sentence would say, in context of the problem, is that the rate at which the gravel is arriving, let me say that again, the rate at which gravel is arriving is decreasing by 24.588 tons per hour squared at time t equals 5. Now you're going to practice a question like this. Okay, let us look at part C of this question, because this would probably be the next spot where the biggest mistake happened. Now, the trickiest part again of this is reading comprehension. So for this question, they're asking, is the amount of unprocessed gravel increasing or decreasing? Now remember, to find out if a function is increasing, so like for example, the amount, we look at its derivative, and if it's greater than 0, then it's increasing. If it's less than 0, then it is decreasing. So for this problem then, how do we know what the rate of change is for the amount of unprocessed gravel? Well, we're told that G of t is the amount of gravel the tons per hour arriving, okay? So this is, my gravel is increasing. It's arriving at the plant. Well, then I'm going to process some gravel, and we're told it's 100 tons per hour, right? So the total rate of change then would be the rate of change of gravel arriving, take away the rate of change at which it's being processed. So this would be the rate of change for the amount of gravel, of unprocessed gravel at the plant. So what I need to do then is, if I want to decide whether the amount is increasing or decreasing, I just need to look at the value of this rate of change at 5. So in doing this then, I would substitute 5 into my calculator, into the rate of function given, and let's see, I'm running out of space here. Can I make it a little smaller? No, but you get 98 point, and I believe that was 14076 minus 100. And we can see that this value will be less than 0. So as a result then, at time t equals 5, the rate at which unprocessed gravel is arriving is less than the rate at which it is being processed. Therefore, the amount of unprocessed gravel at the plant is decreasing at time t equals 5.